Hello, this is David, and welcome to this very special episode of Make Me Proud, because it is possibly the final episode that I make before becoming a dad. My wife is nearly 39 weeks pregnant, will be 39 weeks pregnant as you're watching this video. And therefore, I'm about to embark on parentship, becoming a parent, which will naturally have some ramifications when it comes to my swimming career. And therefore, I just wanted to make this video to share some of my thoughts and feelings as to what life is going to be like in my swimming career whilst also taking care of a child. Because naturally I'm not lost to the fact that bringing up a human being is going to be a significant task that is going to require, amongst other things, a lot of time input, and as a result, I'm not going to be able to put in the same level of time into my training, both in the pool and the gym, that I have been able to leading up to this point. Hence, I just want to share some of my thoughts and feelings around that, because it would just be interesting to see, once I'm in the full swing of dadship, in the full swing of fatherhood, what my preconceptions of embarking on this new era of my life was going to be like versus the actual reality of it. Because having done some research now into becoming a parent and what that involves, I have an idea in my head as to what is still achievable with regards to continuing to progress my love of swimming, to engage in this hobby which means so much to me. Yet at the same time, I don't know how realistic it is. And there's only one way to find out, which is to ultimately get on and do it. But it will just be interesting to see how right or off the mark I am when it actually comes round to continuing with my swimming whilst also bringing up this child. So the first thing that I'm naturally feeling with regards to my swimming is fear. Fear that I'm not going to be able to improve anymore because of the time constraints that I'm going to have with regards to my training. Naturally, as I've already mentioned, bringing up a child is going to require a significant amount of time input, amongst other things, and as a result, I'm not going to have the same amount of free time as I have done leading up to this point in order to train. And therefore, going through my mind at the minute is, have I reached the pinnacle of what I'm able to achieve in my swimming? Is what I achieved last year with my personal bests the absolute top that I'm ever going to achieve in swimming? Which is quite a scary thought, and it's quite a scary question to ask, and it might be one that I need to come around to the idea of the answer being yes. So from an emotional perspective, I definitely have that fear, and I think that the answer to that question might be yes. However, from a logical perspective, I think that there could be more in me yet. And the reason why I say that is because looking at how well I swim at the moment and where I have room for improvement, I believe that that improvement would largely come from building muscle and increasing muscle mass, where I don't think that I need to do all that much training in order to challenge my body and therefore stimulate the adaptations required to cause that muscle growth. In fact, I think I've been quite wasteful over the past couple of years or so with regards to putting on additional muscle, because I've been split between wanting to lose weight and wanting to put on muscle, and as a result haven't really done either of the two, where I think that that largely has been down to my nutrition, where I've been trying to eat to lose weight, but at the same time not really being able to achieve that because my conflicting goal of also wanting to put on muscle to improve my swimming. And therefore, I don't think my improvement over the past few years or so has been as much as it could have been had I been really honed in on what I wanted to achieve with regards to either losing weight or building muscle, and honing in on that and focusing only on that goal. It's because I've got this two conflicting goals that it's created distractions for me, and therefore I haven't been able to improve as much. Therefore, logically, when I consider the scenario of honing in on that one goal of building muscle, then I think that that is still achievable. I think that there is still room for making gains, as it is colloquially known as, and therefore there is still room for me to increase my swimming speed, where rather than training being the key factor in that, although training is certainly a key factor in that, I need to get really disciplined with regards to my nutrition, really hone in on a day-to-day basis of what I'm trying to achieve with that, i.e. getting in that small caloric surplus to be able to build muscle, and then just by going through even this reduced training program, I will still be able to build that muscle needed in order to be able to generate more force in the pool. So I think I will still be able to do sufficient training in order to achieve that muscle growth, in order to improve as a swimmer. So whilst I do have quite a big fear there of reducing my swimming training, at the same time I also feel quite confident that it might almost help me to accelerate my improvement as a swimmer, because it's really going to force me to focus on what I'm doing with my nutrition and what I'm doing within my training sessions, because in my training sessions every second is going to count. I'm going to want to get as much out of that time as I possibly can, and therefore I can't lean back on the, for want of a better word, excuse that I'm doing a whole load of training and therefore it's just going to be natural that I'm going to improve. But instead, I know I've got a limited amount of time, and therefore I've really got to select the sets and exercises that are going to help to progress me to move forwards with my swimming. So whilst I have this fear that that's it, I'm not going to progress anymore, paradoxically, at the same time, I also feel confident that I will progress, because it will force me to become that much more efficient with both my training and nutrition. And logically, or my thoughts rather, support that confidence that there is more. And I know that further down the line, as the child and any future ones that I have grow up, there'll be more time to dedicate to training, but that's probably going to be a little while away until they can become independent enough to take on more things for themselves. So I don't know, perhaps that fear is just for the next decade or so, perhaps it's for the next 20 years until the children move out. But I think that fear isn't quite right, where I will still be able to make improvements. Now, I could be completely wrong in that my idea of what is still possible with regards to dedication to training is just completely out the cards. However, I think that at this point in time, there will still be able to be room for improvement in my swimming. So I still maintain some level of confidence in that. I should caveat this naturally with by saying that I'm super excited to become a father, and that I have no regrets in that sense over what that's going to mean for my swimming career. I've wanted to do this for perhaps a couple of years now, where it's only just at the point where me and my wife are in a position to do so. But I'm incredibly excited for this parental journey that I'm about to embark on, and I wouldn't trade it for anything else. So whilst I do have that fear about cutting down my swimming training, I am super excited, and therefore it's not something that I regret embarking on. So just to caveat that, because I could not be more excited to become a father. The other fear that I have with regards to my swimming career is the fewer occasions to compete. There are going to be more things that get in the way of me being able to rock up at a gala at the weekend. And whilst there are going to be some staple events across the year that I'm always going to be able to carve out time for, there will be some that naturally I won't be able to make it to. Well, I will have to make sacrifices in that sense. And the scary thing at this point in time is, naturally, after the child's birth, there is going to be a certain period of time where competition thereafter is just going to be off of the cards. Training for a little point to a certain aspect too, but competition, I think, for a certain amount of time thereafter. And the frustrating point is that as we will come to a time where I will start to be able to think about entering competitions once again, we're likely going to be hitting the summer break, and therefore the first competition that I might be doing this year could be in September, which will be 7 months rather. 7 years is an awfully long time. 7 months without competition from this point, and the last time I did a gala was on the 1st of December, so that could be a good 10 months without competing, which is scary because naturally swimming and competing is now a key component of my identity, and it's my biggest hobby, and therefore to lose that is quite scary. Similarly, from a motivational point of view, competition helps you to train harder, to keep the consistency with training, and therefore again I'm slightly scared that in not having competition my training is going to fall by the wayside. Naturally, I do have general fitness to think about, and therefore that's going to continue to motivate me. Enjoyment, again, is one that you would hope would motivate me, because why am I doing all this if I don't enjoy it? But I'm sure many a swimmer can tell you the time where they've questioned why they're training so hard, why they're swimming at all, just because at times it can be really difficult and straining. However, in reducing the amount of training sessions that I do and the volume that I do, I think enjoyment is going to go up, because it's going to be a more rare break from the realities of both work and bringing up a newborn baby. So I think in that aspect I will get more from the enjoyment side of swimming, and therefore will be really looking to get the most out of my sessions, because I know that they will be less frequent than they were before. So from that perspective, I am also paradoxically looking forward to not being able to compete, because I think that my enjoyment of the training, doing the training for the enjoyment of it, as opposed to training for competition, will mean that I get much more out of it from an enjoyment perspective. And again, being able to be that break from reality just by getting in the pool and focusing on how hard I'm working in training, as opposed to all the other things that are going on in my life, I think is going to make it more of a nice refuge for me from the rest of reality. So very much looking forward to it from that perspective. So I believe at this point in time that concludes my general thoughts and feelings around the matter. Paradoxically, both scared and excited at the same time for what fatherhood will mean to my swimming career. Logically, I believe that I can still progress and get the same amount of enjoyment and fulfillment out of it as I was doing up until this point. However, the fear and doubt is still there. So we shall see. We shall see which one of those two feelings is right, whether swimming is naturally going to have to take a back seat, especially in the short term, to make room for the effort that I'm going to need to be putting in to take care of this child, or whether it'll be excitement, because it will focus my mind. I will need to be more intentional about what I put into my swimming, and perhaps I will do less junk volume, as it's colloquially known as at my club, and therefore in focusing me, will it help me to actually accelerate my progress as a swimmer quicker, and will I be able to take more enjoyment from it, because rather than putting the pressure on myself through competition and having to push myself hard to achieve results, instead doing the training for the enjoyment of the training, the enjoyment of the swimming? And will that therefore mean that I want to push myself harder naturally as a result of that? And in just taking that pressure off myself with regards to how much training I actually do, will that mean that I actually somehow accelerate my progress because I'm not doing as much junk volume? So a lot of thoughts and feelings and questions in that. Which one of those will come to fruition? Only time will tell. It's only by embarking on this I will find out. But as I said in the middle of this video, naturally I'm super excited to become a dad. I wouldn't trade this for anything in the world. Perhaps in 2 months' time, when I'm absolutely exhausted and, you know, just clinging on to life by the bare skin of my teeth, yeah, I'll be thinking otherwise, but I don't think so. I'm super excited for this. Naturally, a little bit scared as to what it means for my swimming career, but yeah, at the same time, excited for the potential it might actually have for my swimming career, forcing me to actually focus on the things that actually matter when it comes to my swimming training, and therefore has the potential to maybe even make me a better swimmer. So we will find out. That is my thoughts and feelings at this point in time. So if there isn't an episode next week or over one of the following weeks, you will know why that has happened, because my wife has just given birth and therefore I will probably have more important things to have to contend with than making a video, I'm afraid to say. Hopefully I will be able to keep up my frequency of making a video once a week rather. In being able to do that, the quality of the videos might have to drop slightly, I'm afraid to say, but I will still be trying to put in as much effort into each video as I do currently. And again, maybe that time restriction will force me into thinking, what are the most important things with regards to my video? How can I make this a more efficient process, yet still bring the same level of quality in my content, if not more than what I am currently doing? So thank you very much for watching this very special episode. It's been weird speaking my thoughts out loud on this matter, but I'm very excited for what the future entails, and fingers crossed that excitement comes to fruition. For more swimming content, follow and subscribe. To swim faster on limited training time, head to westcough.com. Otherwise, see you in the next episode.